What's up, everybody? Another special edition, Solo 2. Um, Once again, it's just me um, coming at you guys. Filling out the time. Like I said last time, can't let go, can't let the space be wasted. So here's another solo one. Um, this time, probably just talk about the same stuff. On the dock today will be talk about Minnesota Vikings, WWE Universe, um, and then actually a new one. This time, actually give you my review on just a couple of two series that I've watched by myself, and it'll be just my review on it without Matt. He was out of town last Sunday, so once again, it's just me and just to fill out the time. So up first is Minnesota Vikings. We won last Sunday, but it was against Detroit. So yay, like that was pretty much a gimme, anyways. But with that win and everybody else losing, uh, we actually might make the playoffs, which is a little odd considering how we started. And now we are 3-5. I'm looking at the conference, and surprisingly, we are in the hunt. Yeah, we are in the hunt. Considering we're really in the hunt because based on what we're gonna be playing in the next couple of days from now. Um, yeah, our remainder schedule. In case you don't know, or maybe you guys know, next week we're facing the Bears, then the Cowboys, Panthers, Jaguars, Bucks, Bears, Saints, and finish off with the Lions. So that being said, just reading off that schedule, I know we'll have right after the Bears three wins because with the Cowboys doing cowboy things, the Panthers. They almost pulled off a win this past Sunday, but they didn't. And then you have the Jaguars. So in my mind, that's three easy wins. Make it pretty much might get us to 6-5. I know I'd skip the Bears, but bear with me. Then we'll have the Lions last week, so that'll be 7-5. And then Saints, that's a straight up loss. Buccaneers, uh, who knows? I know they went up against the Saints. They only put up 3 points, but who knows? They have a lot of receivers. We'll see. We'll see. That's a maybe, but I'd still, in the beginning of the season, I count that as a loss because all the weapons they had, and they added Tom Brady on the season. So, but after last night, who knows? And now the Bears. Well, who knows? Um, yeah, who really knows? So, and then I'm looking at everybody else at their schedule. As far as who's ahead of us, who's actually in. If the season ended today, they'll be in the playoffs. And I looked at their schedule, and we might actually pull it off. We might actually get that seventh seed, which is bizarre. If we do get that seventh seed, we'll be facing either, um, like I said, if it ended now, I know it's a little weird to put us on the seventh seed in this week, but if it ended now, we'd probably either be playing uh, Seattle. Yeah, it would be Seattle if we had the seventh seed, or Green Bay. I know we won at Green Bay just 2 weeks ago. Um, and we came pretty close to beating Seattle, but because Metcalf is a monster now, so yeah. Who knows? We'll see when we play the Bears this Sunday on see how that goes. If we pull out a win, we actually might, you know, if we pull out a win against, the Bears, we'll be 3-1 in our division, and we might take away. We might actually get the division if the Packers slip up. We actually might take it, which is weird. So yeah, who knows? Moving on. WWE. In case anybody likes this, I like it. Uh, 1 week from Sunday, it is shit. I totally forgot what it. Uh, I was just watching it yesterday. Damn. Survivor Series. Yeah. So the teams are made up. At the men's division just last night, Matt Riddle just made the team. So it's AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, Sheamus, Braun Strowman. Go figure. Why not? He's always in Survivor Series ever since he came on. And Keith Lee. On the SmackDown side, it's Jey Uso, KO, King Corbin, and shit, and Seth Rollins, with one more spot to go. My looking at the list, it's probably going to come down. I mean, if they want to really get a good edge on their favor, I say put in Big E. Um, yeah, I'm looking at the list. Honestly, Big E's probably your best option. At first, I thought they were going to put in have. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, right now, looking at the list, it's I think it's Big E probably going up against Apollo Crews with Big E winning. Um, but yeah, I really don't see anybody else, joining that team. Maybe Lars Sullivan, maybe. Um, but right now he's doing interviews, talking about bullies and everything like that. That I just don't see it happening. But yeah, I like to see Big E in this. As far as who's going to win, right now I think Raw is pretty stacked. Raw's pretty stacked as far as their men's division going in Survivor Series. Looking at their women's division, it's the tag team Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax with Dana Brooke, Lana, and Mandy Rose. Yeah. Um, and as far as SmackDown goes, you have Bianca Belair and Ruby Riott, and probably this Friday we're probably going to see the rest of the team. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure Natalia is probably going to somehow snake her way in there after losing back-to-back triple threats. Um, who else is going to be on that team? Maybe Bayley, because they have to do something with her. Carmella, after she just attacked Sasha Banks last Friday, probably not. But looking at you know at this list, who knows? Liv Morgan might be on there just because Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are a tag team, and so they probably had to put another tag team on this team. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but so I think it's going to come down to my predictions. Probably again Belair, Liv, Ruby, Bayley, and Natalie. Probably snake her way in there unless Carmella actually goes on there. I actually wrote on there. This probably should put Carmella on there, but they might put Nat on there. But Nat's been always on the female side of Survivor Series. Who would win? Again, with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Raw has that edge. I mean, I know in the past the only way to take out Nia Jax is a count out. It's either a count out or a submission. Nobody, memory serves, nobody's ever pinned Nia Jax. It's always a count out or some weird submission on her. But the X Factor, I tweeted this, was probably going to be Raw, or the X Factor is Bianca Belair. She is the X Factor. I mean, if you've seen her wrestle or seen her matches, yeah, she's definitely the X Factor for Women's SmackDown. Um, I figured they would go give her a SmackDown Women's Champion run, but with Carmella coming back and attacking Banks, that's probably going to be put off until who knows when. With Royal Rumble, 2 months away, I'm pretty sure Belair's going to win that one, considered she came down, the final two last year. It was just her and Flair, and obviously Flair won. So I'm pretty sure Belair's going to win this next one if that's probably going to be her SmackDown run right there. Um, who else is on the card? Huh. Because of last night on Raw, we now know Randy Orton and Drew are going to have the rematch. Um, who wins that one? I don't know. I think it depends on who the writers want to face Roman Reigns. Whoever faces Reigns, honestly, is going to lose. I mean, we've seen it already happen. Both Drew and versus Reigns. We've seen Randy versus Reigns. Um, we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen Miz versus Reigns. I could be wrong. Um, I again. uh, so I would like to see Miz versus Reigns, but also want to see Drew versus Reigns because honestly, last time I remember when they were fighting, Shane was in the audience, on ringside, and just giving you know you know on look hits and shit like that. So honestly, I think Reigns is gonna win that one because he's I guess the face of Raw and pretty much primarily of WWE. Uh, so yeah. Um, then you have your women's title, um, SmackDown versus Raw. I think, I think honestly, Asuka's gonna win that one because Banks doesn't really have a good track record against her. Uh, and then you have Sami Zayn versus uh, Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby's gonna win that one. I mean, there's nobody can the Hurt Lock. Nobody seriously gets out of the Hurt Lock. Um, and then as far as tag team goes, until I see who wins next week on Raw versus the Hurt Business and the New Day, I'm gonna hold that one until Friday. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that one. So those are my predictions for Survivor Series on who's gonna win that one. So moving on to dang it, where it's not even coming up. There we go. My solo reviews. So my first one is Humiliated Wives. Uh, yeah, this one was actually quite interesting. Because it's more of a blackmail uh, series. Your husband borrowed money, so we need you to pay it back, or whatnot, like that. Very odd, and very odd as far as hentai goes. Um, there's actually two women in this series. The first one, you know, husband's in the hospital. Um, don't know. They never explain how he's in the hospital, but he borrowed money from loan sharks, loan shark guy. comes to the house, say, hey, you have to pay this off by, doing so many AVs, um, you know. And then eventually she likes it. You know how the story goes. Eventually her stepdaughter gets involved because, the, there's a, there's a daughter, so we're gonna have to have her in this story as well. The other one, which is they don't really explain how they got her involved, but somehow I believe she was taking, photos of other girls and, you know, promiscuous poses, and they threatened her with that. So yeah, and sorry, I'm messing with my headphones right now. Uh, yeah, and then yeah, I don't know if this is such a good one to watch for plot because it's not much of plot in this per se. Uh, it it's by Vanilla. Um, it's okay. It's early mid 2000s um, animation. Again, it's from Vanilla. It's okay for its time. Not the greatest, but not the baddest either. Um, which is weird saying that. And this was by Vanilla, which was primarily dubs in the states. So Vanilla pretty much dominated statewide hentai. So this is pretty much what we got during the mid 2000s. Uh, Again, it's not the greatest animation, but it's not the baddest. As far as story goes, your typical NTR, um, NTR stuff. Blackmail. You have to pay back. The only way you can pay it back is by doing a whole bunch of AV stuff, and then we'll sell that, and that's what you will have to offer. So it's 2 episodes long. Again, the second episode is primarily the daughter. Uh, you know there is a weird nurse in this series, but she doesn't really do anything. We don't really much get a backstory on this other than she's there. That's it. Um, so as far as humiliated wives go, no, I wouldn't recommend watching it. Um, this is based on a video game. It's probably a lot better than the animation or the hentai itself. So uh, I would pass on this unless if if you want to watch it, you're a big fan of NTR, blackmail, that sort of thing. So if you're into that, knock yourself out. The next one is Injo Kohai. Koha, sorry. And this one, it's you know, um, I don't know if you, I shouldn't say it's typical because yeah, I wouldn't say it's typical. So in this story is where you have different species living on Earth, within the Earth. Or, let me start again. Uh, so in this series, you have different species. You have your orcs, elves, whatever, what have you, and eventually, some of these species need, special counseling, um, quote unquote. That special counseling is, suppressing their sexual urges. In the first, I guess, 2 episodes, it's an elven princess, and these types of elves, they're all female, and the only way they can, have kid offsprings is, they need that male seed, and so there's a system in place where selects a good candidate for the elves to suppress their sexual urges and also, supply the seed so they can get offspring. The person in question is her teacher. Go figure. And so they pretty much bang it out. Eventually, her sister slash bodyguard is also one of the select. Well, she wasn't. She just comes with the package, and so hey, I know sometimes you can't finish with my sister, so you can have me as well, which is pretty good. Yeah, and then the third girl is a dragon. Uh, yeah, dark skin dragon. Not part of the system, but she say, "Hey, I just want sex." You know. Turns out the teacher is quarter orc. Everything about him is human except for his penis, which is pretty. If you look at it, it's pretty big. Orc size, what have you, and he has unlimited lust prowlness, and so that explains why he finishes with the princess's sister. Um, Now both the princess and the dragon are lolies, and obviously the sister is the big titty elf. But it turns out in the fourth episode, the dragon can also change her form into a like adult form and then go back and forth. We only see it one time, so so if you like your elf and dark skin lowly, this is pretty good. As far as the story goes, it's your standard suppression of lust system type. It's pretty good. I would give it a watch. If you're into elves or you just are into dark skin girls, then probably watch the episode 3 and 4. I wish they kind of add another species in this, but that's what they give you. It's always elves. At least in this one, they're at least the elves aren't getting gang banged by orc or trolls or whatever in that fashion. But yeah, I would like it. I like it. Again, give it a good watch. It's fairly new. So yeah. What else? That's about it. Um, Again, this is just a solo episode. Um, I would still like to do this uh, sort of live video. I'm still trying to figure that out. Uh, I just realized checking today, one of my Funko Pops is worth about $90, or it's going for $90. So that's something. Um, yeah. So hopefully this Sunday we'll record a full episode. So look for that full one. If not, I'll probably just do another one of these. Hopefully it'll be a lot better. Um, couple of reviews and then that's that. Oh, um, yeah. So that's that. I was gonna do a Netflix recommendation. I'll do that in full episode next time. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, I guess, solo act part 2. Might see more. Probably just you know, do it right after Monday record on Tuesday. After pay per view and then Raw, and go from there. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's my show. I can talk whatever I want. I like doing my predictions for Raw and whatnot. Hopefully, there's something else I can predict out there. Um, yeah. So I'm just rambling. Anyway, thanks for listening, and look for our full episode. You can follow me on Twitter. There's not much I type out other than updates on saying, hey, I just posted it, or maybe I'll just retweet all the TNA that's on my feed or whatnot, or anything that I find funny. So thanks for once again. Thanks for listening. Oh, my Twitter is shit. I don't even know what my own Twitter is. Hold on. Once again, my Twitter is Vex at VexFox49. As right now, I have about 12. I don't know why I have 12 followers. They're all well, technically it's 10 because two of my followers are just once a game. One's one of my friends, but he doesn't post anything much. Um, hmm. But yeah, once again, that's VexFox49. And that's that. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. Hopefully, we'll have another solo, or not solo show, full episode record this Sunday. Thanks for listening.